Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this slightly different day, moving it from Sunday to Saturday. But it looks like a lot of people are showing up, so thank you very much for that. How are we all doing? I hope I explained this clearly, but there's a cup final tomorrow. Actually, Copa America is on today. I just found out. So the game tomorrow is the European Football Cup final, which is England versus Italy. So, it's going to take a lot of people's attention certainly in Europe. So, anyway, hello everyone. I hope you're keeping well. I'm seeing you greeting one another, which is wonderful, and a lot of you seem to be looking forward to this particular song, Magnetized. So let's just check in with everyone. I've got first. Hi Melissa, how you doing? Nice of you to join us. Eva, hi. Hola Clark. Hope you and your mum are well. I hope that England will be the champion for Euro 2020. Although I'm not a football fan, by the way. Really look forward to hearing the backstory of the fantastic Magnetized. Thank you very much, Eva, and thank you for your good wishes regarding Euro 2020, which is because of the pandemic happening in 2021. Thanks very much for that. We've got Richard. Good afternoon, Clark. Hope you're well. Looking forward to being magnetized by the latest edition. Brought the CD after the gig at the Robin a few years back and had a chat with you too. I remember that, Richard. I think you may be mentioned in an interview coming up, and you'll see why. I think it was correct to mention you. Pranav, hello man, how you doing? Greetings from New York City. This song was a litmus test that proved that the sonic mojo of Clark Datcher and Mike Nocito was alive and well despite the long hiatus from incarnation number one of Johnny Hates Jazz. Pranav, you are a journalist through and through, let alone a radio presenter. Very well put. Thank you very much. But it's true. We've got to remember, folks, that me and Mike had been out of contact for over 20 years. Me, Mike, and Calvin, actually. So, of course, Magnetize the album ended up just being me and Mike. But it was quite right, Pranav, the litmus test. It was a question of, were people going to embrace Johnny Hates Jazz that many years later and in a slightly different form? We'll get into that in a minute. Hello, Paul. Here we go. Hello again, Clark from Aberdeen. Hi, Paul. Hope you're doing well up there. And Michelle, hi from Northumberland. Hello, Michelle. Mirko, greetings from Germany. Hi, Mirko. Thank you very much for joining us. And hi, Veronica. I hope you're keeping well. Hello, Vanessa. I hope you're all right over there in Belgium. Marcia, hi Clark, hope you're doing well. Greetings from Poland. Hello, Marcia. Hope all is well in Bussum. Alice, it's great to be here on Saturday. That's good to know, Alice. You know what? I'm going to throw this out there, folks. Remember, there's a 20-second delay in me speaking and you hearing me speak. But, if this is a big moment for people to say, actually, can we move back to Saturday? I am open. Who else have we got here? Larissa. Hi, Clark. Good afternoon. How are you? I'm very well, thanks. What a wonderful surprise to see you today. I'm very happy to see you. I wish you have a great weekend and a wonderful week. Thank you very much, Larissa. I really appreciate that. Larissa, you got to remind me, are you, correct me if I'm wrong here, from Italy or Spain? Because if you are from Italy, I send you all good wishes tomorrow, okay, in the game. I really do. Alison, hi Clark, I'm happily avoiding the football. Yeah, there is an argument for that, Alison. Okay. Annie, hi Clark, can't wait to see the Massive on Thursday. Annie is referring to two gigs we're doing in London, Wednesday and Thursday, at a place called Boysdale. And I know Annie, you and Roz and the whole Massive, Johnny H.S. Massive gang are going to be coming, which is great. Eric, how you doing, Eric? So glad you came back with this tune. Absolutely love it. Thanks, Eric. You're in the States, I know. Jane, hi from Scotland. Hello, Jane. Hope you're keeping well. And Ang Lee, hello, Clark. Loving these episodes. I'm really glad. That's really wonderful to hear. Sania, from Kazakhstan. Hello, Sania. Good evening, Clark. How are you? I think you are looking forward to the football final. You'll be present at Wembley Stadium. No, I'm not going to Wembley. those tickets were gone a long time ago, but I will be watching, and I have been watching throughout the tournament, and it has been a great tournament. I have to say, for everyone, no matter what country you're from, I think the standard of playing has been fantastic, and some people didn't get through to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals who played absolutely outstanding football. It's just the way these competitions go. I think it's been really enjoyable in general. Sylvia, hi, Clark. Can't wait to see Mike and you together. Love it back on Saturday. Okay, I know it's only one day. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'll explain more in a minute. Neil says, no mascot up front today. No, I think a candle for Magnetized is more appropriate. But I will bring the mascots up later, definitely. Okay, Roberto, hi, greets from Stuttgart, Germany. Hello, Roberto, lovely part of the world. And Steve, greetings from Steve, Ezra, and Queen Boudica. Hey, Steve, that's great. If Boudica's watching, then I will be on my best behavior. I mean, I would anyway. Maria, ciao, Clark from Llano, Italy. Hello, Maria. Good luck tomorrow, as I said, to Larissa, if I've got that right, Larissa. And Alejandro, hi, Clark. How are you doing? Sylvia, hi, Sylvia. Greetings from rainy Holland. Hope you're fine. Thank you very much. And Fatima, hello, Fatima. Thanks for your greetings too. And I could go on. And I will just mention Alice says, greetings from Seattle. Magnetized brought me to meet my good friends Keith and Lou and Eva and everyone. Oh, that's wonderful, Alice. That's really good to hear. And Kimberly, hi, Clark from cloudy but warm Connecticut, listening while sitting in front on our way to see family. Hope you and your family are well. Looking forward to hearing your and Mike's comments on Magnetized. Oh, great. I hope it's a long journey. You've got time to watch all this, Kimberly. Good for you for joining in. And Juanita, hi, Clark. Really looking forward to this song. I'll definitely be watching the football tomorrow. Russ, not so keen. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I just enjoy it for what it is. That's what I say to everyone. The main thing is that it's been, I think the teams have been really well behaved, the fans have been good, and that's what's important. We've got, I'm going through everyone here, I'm really sorry, everyone. Michelle, either day, appreciate and love that you do this. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks so much. Rocio, actually, Saturday is a better day. Okay, Rocio, good, you're being direct there. Howard, Magnetized, no mistakes from Wide Awake sound like different parts of the same story or thought process. I wonder if they are. They are, Howard. Very astute of you. That's absolutely the case. And they are brother-sister songs to me. They really do share some kind of common DNA. And we'll get into that. Good point. Moya, how you doing, Moya? Hi, Clark. I hope you're well. I'm really looking forward to the interview with Mike. Especially excited to going to the gig on Thursday with the Massive. You're coming as well, Moya. Of course you are. Look forward to seeing you there. And Angie, have been looking forward to this episode. Hope you're keeping well. I am, Angie. Thanks so much. Art, how you doing? Looking forward to this show. Enjoy your day. You too, Art. And Sarah, hi, Clark. Can't wait for the football. Okay. We could go in a very particular direction with this. And we've got Tracy saying hi to Jill Marie. Roz, evening all. I'll be thinking it's work tomorrow now. Yes, I know the feeling. Adleeb, hello, Clark from Islamabad. How you doing, Adleeb? Thank you very much for joining. I hope things are good in Islamabad right now. Polly says, I'm happy it's Saturday. Okay, Polly, fair enough. And Emma's asking, will the album Journey Song be coming out soon? Journey Songs 1, this is, which is actually going to have a subtitle. I'll reveal that. Yes, it's coming out very soon. In fact, my website will be going live not this week but next week. The date I'm aiming for is 21st of July. We'll talk more about that nearer the time. Okay, everyone, I'm going to have to move on, except to say just ended celebrating our win over you, 4th of July. That's Ruthie, my friend Ruthie. And now Sunday, I'll root for you against Italy. That's very kind of you, Ruthie, and thanks for that reminder of a particular defeat. And I will let me just do a quick shout out. Benty, how are you doing? Haven't been able to attend for weeks, but had to for my fave JHJ song. Looking forward to it. Absolutely. And Ruthie saying hi to Mike. Great. I need to say a quick hello. I'm going to zoom up here to where can I find you? Um, my cousin John. Hi, John. My cousin John in Kentucky. It's great you're joining us, John. And I hope you're well. I hope the family are well. Fantastic. Be lovely to see you one of these days over yonder, and that may happen. Um, as time will tell. Okay, everyone, you've just been sending wonderful messages. A lot about the football. um, Mark, hello, Mark, how you doing? Good friend of mine, Mark. First one I've watched live for ages. Work commitments and all that. Love this song. I've met a few people in my life that you instantly feel connected with. The instant familiarity is a strange one. Mark, yeah, it's a great segue to the song. So nice one, because that's what it's all about. It's about why do we meet certain people at certain moments in our lives, and we have some kind of recognition, and sometimes that recognition is a beautiful one. We're drawn to those people. Sometimes it's not. It's an odd feeling, and we don't want to get too close. What is that? Well, this song, Magnetized, folks, is one big question. If you remember, the lyrics are, do we only live to die? Or is it that our hearts are magnetized, are drawn together, folks, for those of you who asked about that, as magnets often draw themselves together. And sometimes, of course, with a certain polarity, they repel each other. So it is a question, and everything I'm about to say here is my personal opinion as the writer of the song, okay? I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other about my perspective. I'm just sharing this with you, and you can make your minds up, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so let me just say one thing, if I may. I think it's very important I say this because there are people watching from around the world, and I know I've said this before. This is true of Copa America, which is going to be Brazil versus Argentina. One of the unifying powers of football, and I think other sports, but I think especially football, because it's so global, is this sense that we can have our battles on a sports pitch, but it ends there. And even those battles should be, for the most part, good-natured. And I think that is something we want to see more of. And that, of course, is the power of music. It is very much a unifying force. And that's why I write the songs that I do with the subjects that I write about, because I want to say to people out there, if you're like-minded, hey, I'm like-minded too. Let's share these thoughts. And if you're not, then I'd like to say, hey, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this? Let's have some kind of dialogue. Dialogue is really important, folks, isn't it? Not enough dialogue these days. I think you'll agree. Okay, so as I said, and as Pranav mentioned earlier, this was really the comeback record for Johnny Hates Jazz. Of course, it's a long story about how Johnny Hates Jazz came together and what happened in the interceding years. But, Magnetized was the first song of the Magnetized album that I'd written. And I'm going to get into how I wrote it and why, when and where, and all the rest of it shortly. But let's first look at the record itself. When it came out in 2013, it was embraced by British radio like there's no tomorrow. It actually was the most played record on UK radio at one moment in time. That is more than any other current single of that moment from the major labels or major artists. It was quite remarkable. So very much embraced. And the writing process of Magnetized went through several changes, which we'll get into in the interview with Mike. which I only did this morning, and it was great to chat with him and to do the interview finally. But here's the cover of the Magnetized single, and that was very much the kind of the look of the whole of the Magnetized campaign, was this splash of color. Johnny Hates Jazz, the logo, very bold. And this, of course, came from, I should say, this shot, folks, this photograph taken by Simon Fowler again, our good friend. And Simon's interview is coming up actually in a couple of weeks. But the idea was kind of a nod, an acknowledgement of the Shattered Dreams cover when I was up front and Mike and Calvin were blurred behind me. This time it was just me and Mike, so that was the idea, that Mike walks past me and looks at me, and Simon caught this blurred motion. So it's very much a kind of a hands across time to Shattered Dreams. Sorry, hand across time to Shattered Dreams. It was from the album Magnetized. Again, there was the splash of color. Johnny Hates Jazz, very bold. I really loved that whole look. And interestingly, I found this the other day. I have posted this before for some of you who've seen this on social media. But even the artwork took quite a while to find exactly what we wanted to do. And Rob O'Connor at Styler Rouge and Rob's team, who have done our artwork since Shattered Dreams, and also a very good friend, came up with this at one point, which was really interesting. I think the idea was that could also go in the booklet. I can't remember if it did or not. I've got the CD here. I should check it out. But of course, that then morphed into this, which, you know, I don't know about you folks, but I'd like to see that on vinyl one day, you know, maybe with a couple of extra tracks. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, what have we got? 2013 will be the 10-year anniversary of Magnetized. It's a bit of a long wait, I know, but maybe that's something to aim for. Okay, everyone. So I think it's time to go straight into the interview. And I should say that when we make reference in the interview to the theme in Magnetized, we're talking about this. That. So I don't actually sing it or anything in the interview, but we both reference it, so it's important that you're aware of that. Okay, everyone, are we doing all right? Is everyone keeping well? I'm speaking at 100 miles an hour here. I'm sorry if I'm going a bit too fast, everyone. Tristan says the Magazine cover was definitely a shout out to the Shattered Dreams cover, exactly. And my friend in St. Petersburg, still don't know how to pronounce your name, but I love Magnetized. Clark, what is your favourite song from the album? Very, very good question. And I answered that in the interview because me and Mike ask each other that question. So good. Okay, where are we? Jeroen says, I really love this album in its whole, and especially the song Magnetized. Cool. Very cool, Jeroen. What else have we got here? Lots of different people making different comments. Okay. So without further ado, let's go to the interview with Mike. Finally, here we go. Mike, welcome to Journey Songs. At long last, we've made this happen. So let's talk about Magnetized, Mike. When we first knew we were going to do the album, and especially the track Magnetized, obviously we were faced with this conundrum of how much are we going to sound like we did in the 80s, and how much do we want to sound like something that was of the time. So let's talk a bit about that. What do you remember of that conundrum?
Exactly that. We hadn't made a record for 20 whatever years, 22, 23 years. And at the time we felt we didn't do a follow-up to that original record. So this was kind of the follow-up. So it was a conundrum. Do we just try to sound like the past, or do we just go, no, let's just do something different? But the fact of the matter, Clark, is the truth of the matter is that we will sound like we sound because we did the first record and then we made Magnetized. So we couldn't not sound like Johnny Hates Jazz. It's kind of just a case of how. And actually, let's discuss that for a second, Clark. The theme on Magnetized, it didn't exist when you originally wrote the song.
No.
And we debated far longer than it took for you to come up with the theme. You came up with the theme, and then we spent way longer just thinking, well, it's a bit, Shattered Dreams has got that, and is it too obvious to have that? Is that what you remember?
Yeah, we we went round and round the houses with that. Should we or shouldn't we? And the ironies is that the track always felt good. So there was an argument that it didn't actually need
It
it.
didn't need it. It
Yeah.
didn't need it.
But
And
paradoxically,
yeah.
now when we perform it live and everyone hears dun 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 dun, dun it's like, that's the everyone's kind of, oh, it's magnetized, and they're into it.
Well, you can't not have it now. I mean, it's weird when you see bands discussing, famous bands discussing records they've made in the past. As a punter, as a fan of that band, it's odd hearing them discuss a track or a song, because to the fan it's perfection. And how could, so for there even to be a debate about, well, maybe there shouldn't have been the theme, it's like, how can you say that? But these are very real things that are happening at the time. We've discussed this before. There was a bridge section. It's called a B section now, Clark. Is it? What is it?
It's called
What
a
is it called?
pre-chorus now, but
A pre. Okay.
let's not lower the standard. Yes, you're
Semantics. That's
quite
right.
right.
Okay. So it was a bridge section that you'd written, but I think I certainly was strong. It was too long to get to the chorus. So this wasn't an artistic decision. This was almost like, well, it won't get on the radio if it's too long. So,
Yeah.
that's
Likewise,
that.
there was the bridge. So the bridge, folks, is the section between the verse and the chorus in the in the world of music pre 2000. So from the prehistoric human beings to 2000, we used to refer to the sections of songs like that. And of course, then there was a middle section after chorus 2, which was like an instrumental section.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that.
I do, yeah.
And
It
it
was
was really cool. It was all really cool. But you're right. It was pushing 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just not, if it's going to be a single, which we all felt it deserved to be. We had to sculpt it a bit. Yeah.
But even that, Clark, if you remember, because I remember internally kind of groaning to myself when we'd done it all, and it's like, well, what's going to be the first single? It was obvious it was going to be Magnetized, but I was kind of thinking, it's just too similar to Shattered Dreams. But of course, Where Johnny Is Jazz and Shattered Dreams was the most famous song, so it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
These are dilemmas that you have when you're in a band, and they're hidden dilemmas. They're only for us, but it's a strange one.
What's also really interesting about Magnetized is that as with any track we've probably ever done, even with Shattered Dreams, Mike, when we'd finished it, it was, you never feel you've quite done enough. You never feel you've.
Oh.
Yes. And so with Magnetized, I remember it's one of those tracks that you finish it and you just go, it was a little bit more mileage in that. Could we done the mix differently? And then months later, if not years later, you hear it and you go, wow, that sounds really good. That's just, it's got its thing, and Magnetized really has that. Every time it comes on now, it's like, oh man, that's a magical record. It's cool. It's got this something about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So Mike, let's zoom forward to the fact that we are back gigging this coming week, Wednesday night and Thursday night at Boysdale in Canary Wharf, London. And this is a situation, folks, kind of like we played in Japan when we played Billboard in Japan, where people actually come to have dinner and then watch the band, which is it's a different kind of gig, that's for sure. It's odd. But the food's very good apparently, and we get fed, so we're looking forward to it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So of course, one thing that's cool for us is that we've only done one gig since we released the Wide Awake album. Well, actually, we've only done one gig in front of an audience, which was in Berlin last year. And
Yeah.
this was during lockdown all over the world. So we were one of the few bands that actually did something at the
Yeah.
Green Tech Awards. And then we did an acoustic show, which has been filmed, and we'll talk about that another time because that'll be available to view soon. But really, this is our first chance to play some of the tracks from Wide Awake since Berlin, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. So that's
So
going to be strange in and of itself, isn't it?
it is, because we've kind of found our way with tracks like Magnetized over the years of how you perform them live, and this is going to be different. Any favorite, Mike? If from Wide Awake, is there a favorite one you have that we're going to be performing or not performing?
No, I mean, I'm a big fan of the title track.
Hmm.
That's one of my favorites, I think, probably. I'm just trying to think of I'm trying to think of what's on it. Well, I mean, I think Wide Awake is so great.
Cool, man.
It's a
Cool.
great song. Do
I
you?
have to say, I actually that is my favorite track still. Wide Awake. I really do. As much as I love Spirit of Love and Don't Stop the
Of
Music
course,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Great Good and everything,
yeah.
I think Wide Awake cuts it. So maybe, Mike, when I do Wide Awake on Journey songs, you could come back and we can have a chat about that because
Okay, yeah,
that
yeah.
was a really
That's
fascinating track
yeah,
to put together, wasn't it?
it was.
Um, and let's just leave it for now then, Mike. Favorite track on Magnetized? And I've watched what you said in an earlier interview you and I did. I know what you said and I know what I
Oh,
said.
okay. I'm going to come up with probably two,
Go on.
which is "The Road Not Taken," which is my favorite song. But probably "Release You," I think is a really again. I love the song, but Clark, it's that's a tough one because when I hear records, some of the other records, you go, we didn't quite get that one. We didn't quite nail that one. We didn't. On "Release You," I have one gripe about it, which I won't tell anyone, but I wish that we could change something about it, and we
What is
didn't.
it?
I'll tell you later. I'm
All
not
right,
going to tell
okay.
everyone.
When we've
Yeah,
finished recording, and then I'll tell
yeah,
everyone on,
yeah.
live.
That's right. And of
um,
course, I'm wrong. I'm wrong because everybody likes it the way it is. But
it's done us proud, Release You. It's amazing.
yeah,
I mean, for
it's
me, you had said in a previous interview that it was The Road
yeah,
Not Taken.
yes, yeah.
But I said in that interview it was Magnetized. I
Okay.
think over the years I've erred towards Release You and Goodbye Sweet Yesterday.
Oh, I see. Goodbye, sweet. Yes, I forgot about that. That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's nice
That's
to be able to pick from
yeah.
pick a few.
Well, that was the last thing here, Clark. The one thing with all the Johnny H. Jazz albums, every single song on all the albums has is a favorite to someone out there. We've discovered this with people posting, which I think I can't imagine there are too many bands that's the case. All 10 songs have got are a favorite of somebody's somewhere, and I think that's pretty spectacular.
It is, and in some ways, I've just finally repositioned myself here, so I'm next to you. In some ways, Mike, that really started with the Turn Back the Clock album, didn't it? Where
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
we didn't mean to go into that recording saying, "Well, we're going to now make an album full of potential singles." It happened that way, and but that seems to have carried on.
Well, we A&R ourselves. That's the other thing. We
That's true.
decide the songs that are going to be on the record.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
we only record ones that we like,
yeah.
not fillers. So that's
Absolutely. Well,
also
we've always been very, self-reliant in that way. I actually, in an earlier episode, I told everyone, as they will remember, I think, about Ronnie Prowse.
Ronnie.
Someone asked me. I think it might have been Richard. I remember Richard up in the Midlands, I think,
Yeah,
asked about Ronnie Prowse. So I told that
he had a
story, which
very
was an example of us,
yeah,
of our
yeah,
self-reliance, because
yeah. He had a very good ear, Ronnie, didn't he?
he had a great ear.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
great ear.
yeah.
And a great eye for motors as well. He always put good motors
Used
our way.
used
Used
motors. Yeah,
motors, yeah.
yeah.
Had a few miles on them, But okay, Mike, thank you very much, man. And
Glad to finally appear.
yeah, absolutely. And like I say, maybe Wide Awake could be a good one.
Cool.
There we go. So that was just this morning. And no, we didn't coordinate shirts. It just I only just noticed that actually watching it back. That's quite funny, isn't it? I'm giving it a bit more chest. I always do on stage, as well as people will know who have seen me. So Yes, so Mike will come back, and not just for Wide Awake, but it was nice to have to pinpoint a particular song, but there will be others definitely. So I hope you enjoyed it, everyone. Let's just check in with you before I go on my diatribe about reincarnation. Um, where are we? Let's see. We've got Chiho. Personally, been intensely hoping for so many years to be magnetized to my special someone. Sorry, Chiho, my twin soul. One day, while I am still alive in this world. What a magnetic song, Clark. Love it so much. That's a beautiful message, Chiho, and very honest of you. And I think we all have that longing in our spirits to at some point in our lives to meet that person. And like I say, I think we meet different people for different reasons. It's not necessarily just love. You meet one particular person who's going to be your life partner, then you meet another person who will help open the door for something perhaps in your career, who knows, and someone perhaps who closes the door, which means you have to look in a different way, a different area of life to find your way forward. This is, I think, how life works. Anyway, what else have we got here? Vanessa says, goodbye, sweet yesterday, and nevermore are my favourites. Nevermore is in 2 weeks, Vanessa. Good, okay. And Hero, hi Hero. Konnichiwa, Clark. Say hello to Mike. Magnetize was a masterpiece of 2013. Thank you, Hero. I hope you're keeping well. Yeah, we need to come back to Japan and perform it all over again with the new material. Paz, it's really nice to see you and Mike finally. Yes, it is, isn't it? Paz, we talk all the time. That's what's bizarre. It took ages for it to actually happen on camera. So, what else have we got? Annie says, new day ahead, such an anthem. Can't wait to get the children singing in school again. Would love to play that. That's a lovely idea, Annie, getting them singing New Day Ahead. That's, of course, in the future. New Day Ahead actually is a firm favourite of mine as well from that album. It's an environmental song. I love doing it live. We just haven't done it live enough because we've been in lockdown. Okay, Marcia loves the interview with Mike. Great, Marcia. I'm so glad. Larissa says, wonderful interview. I loved it. Thanks so much for sharing. You're welcome. Joyce says, lovely memories. Thank you, Clark. Good choice of words, Joyce, actually, considering the song. Kimberly says, that was wonderful, Clark. So nice to hear from Mike as well. Yeah, absolutely. He has his own perspective, and that's, very, very important. Very unique, because Mike has a huge background as an engineer and producer. So he hears and sees things differently to me, just as I hear and see things differently, being, predominantly a songwriter. So it's always an interesting combination. We've got Alison says, what a great interview. Thank you, Clark and Mike. Really interesting. You're welcome. And Kirsty, that was fantastic. So enjoyed that interview, Clark. Thank you so much to you and Mike. Life teaches us blessings and lessons. Well said, Kirsty. Very well said, actually. I appreciate that. Amy, did I pronounce that right, Amy? This is making me even more excited for Thursday. Looking forward to seeing you and meeting the JHJ Massive. Great, Amy. And then you can correct me if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. Okay, see you there. And Lieb, great interview. Happy to see Mike after a long time. Yes, cool. Very cool. Everyone else will quickly just mention Julie, the chapters of life and a huge, wonderful book we all write. Very true, Julie. Very true. I hope you get well soon, Julie. Okay. Moki says, so lovely to see Mike, great interview. I really want to know what he didn't like about my favourite song ever, Release You. Actually, we didn't talk about it afterwards. I think it's a production issue. It'll be a sound. It'll be the sound of something, or, I'll find out. We have talked a lot about this, about Magnetized, because we both have our critiques, as we do of anything we've done. But as Mike said, it doesn't matter, because actually it's perfect the way it is, because that's how you've all heard it and you've embraced it, and we appreciate that. And Mark says the theme continues. To songs too. Some songs you hear and you feel like you've heard them before. Oh, I see what you're getting at. That's very good. Before some come at just the right moment, and the lyrics mean so much more. Very good point, Mark. Yes, that's true. They are that. They are that kind of that connector of memory. It's very interesting. Good point. Okay, everyone. We've got here Choose 80s. Only just managed to join. Sorry, look forward to watching it back after. Absolutely. We're so enjoying the lives you're doing. I'm so glad to hear that, both of you. I hope you're keeping well. And Kelly says, good luck for your London performance. Wish could be there, but relying on you to return to the Netherlands in due course. Yes, we will. Absolutely. Okay. So I will mention this as well because Pranav is raising an issue here. Mike and I almost got into an argument about the jettisoning, that is meaning the getting rid of, the hypnotic keyboard vocals when we met 3 years ago. He made the argument that the song was too long with that section. That might be what we're referring to. I wish we weren't as constrained as we are these days on the length of a single. To me, that was the song's most quintessentially Johnny H. Jazz moment. Yeah, I don't think that's it, actually, Pranav, but it is a constraint of time, as Pranav having his own radio station, Radio Creme Brulee, knows. You know, a song really needs to be maximum 3.5 minutes, and now it's getting shorter. 3 minutes is too long for some people. Some people want to write a 2.5 minute song. I can't do it. I can't do it. If you've listened to Tomorrow, the album Tomorrow, which will be Journey Songs 2, you know, the songs are long. I just, could you tell, you know, composers of the classical era, actually, sorry, it needs to be, you know, not so much 20 minutes. Could you make it 2.5 minutes? Wouldn't be possible. Okay. So everyone's making some lovely comments here. I'm going to proceed with talking a little bit about the song because I know I'm going on a bit, but a cup of tea first. Have you got your tea? I don't have biscuits this time because I ate a lot of biscuits earlier. Okay. Okay. Everyone, remember these are just my thoughts. So, if you don't agree with me, don't get offended. There's no need. These are the musings of a songwriter here, okay? Like a lot of people, but especially people who are writers of different types, I have 3 questions that travel with me no matter where I go. Where do we come from? Where are we going? And why are we here? Now, as part of my questioning of that, I wanted to do a song about reincarnation, write a song about reincarnation, which I actually had done before. None of you will have heard it, but I've, in different forms, done that for myself. And just to clarify, the idea of reincarnation, the philosophy behind it, is that we are born many times and we live many lives. We're the same essence, or spirit, as you may want to call it, but we have different bodies in these different existences. And the purpose behind it really is that that's how we learn and grow as spirits. That's the concept behind it, that with each life you experience something different, which teaches you something about yourself. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. It's a subject that always fascinated me. And let me just kind of reiterate something I just said. Really, with reincarnation, it's an interesting thought that to learn and grow through experience cannot be done in the space of one lifetime, because not everyone's lifetime is equal to another person's. You know, some people get 100 years, some people get 6 months. How can that be enough time to learn and to grow equally? So that's the interesting thing about reincarnation. It's this idea of balancing existence, whereby sometimes we do live long lives, sometimes we live shorter lives, sometimes we're the good guys and sometimes we're the bad guys. So I'll come back to that. I wrote this when I was living in London, um, and I was living in a place called Hampstead. That's just one picture of Hampstead. I wasn't living there exactly, but it's a very old part of London. It used to be its own village, and it has a heath next to it, which is where I'm sitting, where this photograph is taken. That was me um, in probably 2009, 2010. And I wrote Magnetized when I was living there. And the interesting thing about Hampstead is that uh, there were some very famous poets who lived there, and painters and artists and philosophers. It drew people there, and Hampstead Heath, which is this big area of wild land within the boundaries of London, it's quite remarkable, an ancient place, um, is what draws people there. Regardless of how the city has been built up, Hampstead Heath is this little piece of, or quite large piece of, ancient Britain that is still there. And in fact, legend has it that there is a mound there, a huge earthen mound surrounded by trees. And legend has it that Boudica, the Celtic leader of ancient times, is buried there. Anyway, famously, the poet John Keats lived there. His house is still there. It's called Keats House, and it's now a museum. Percy Shelley lived there for a while, who I've mentioned before. And in Hampstead, everywhere you turn, you are looking into a mirror of the past. And so it really was the right environment to be in to write a song about reincarnation, because, of course, the idea of many lives is partly about the fact that in each life we have no memory of our previous life. That's how we learn and grow. We start from zero again with the information and the changes we went through in our previous existences. So, yeah, Hampstead was an interesting place to write the song. Now, there are many ancient philosophies, we could say indigenous philosophies, but I prefer to call them ancient philosophies, that held the idea of reincarnation to be true. And I'm just going to mention a few of them here, so if you have others you want to mention, please do. But the Mayans, the Maori, Native Americans, the Celts, the Vikings. I recognise I'm missing huge swathes of the Aboriginals of Australia. I'm missing out huge swathes of the earth, so please chip in there. They all had that view. It wasn't a remarkable concept to them. It was a natural part of understanding how we learn and how we grow. And of the major organized religions now, Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, and Sikhism, all of the major religions that emanated from India, have reincarnation as an integral part of their view of life and death. Interestingly, Christianity and Islam don't, but Christianity used to. The Gnostic Christians, who were very, very early Christians, who had a strong relationship actually with the Celtic Druids. Some say that the Gnostic Christians grew out of Druidry when the story of Jesus and his life and teachings reached ancient Europe, that it kind of gave rise to this very eclectic and progressive form of Christianity, even back there, called the Gnostics. And they absolutely embraced the concept of reincarnation. But at the Second Council of Constantinople, present-day Istanbul, in 553 AD, it was decided that it wasn't going to be part of Christian teaching. And there's reasons for that I'm not going to get into. So basically, I think actually very interestingly, there have been surveys done amongst Christians and people of other faiths who, regardless of their particular scriptures, do embrace the idea of reincarnation. So I think it's a personal choice that we all make. Um, but there's life beyond religion. There's obviously people who are atheists who probably don't think reincarnation has any value at all, the idea of it. And there's people like me who are none of those things. I don't have a name for my spirituality except that I am an earth lover. Um, and yeah, I think it's real. Okay, so I also really want to make a point here, as I've said before, that I really don't like people who are know-it-alls. I don't know everything. I don't have the answers here. I will only find out when I'm gone, I think. So people who say no, it doesn't exist. Reincarnation doesn't exist because maybe it is something to do with their scriptures, or maybe it's to do with the fact that it's scientifically unprovable right now. That's one thing. Or a New Age teacher who claims to be the reincarnation of Pharaoh Ramses II or something. I don't have time for that kind of thing. I think it's important to be open-minded, but I think it's important that we don't associate these things with a mythical view of living many lives, and that is that we all. I read something recently that a psychic has said that in the British royal family, Prince George is the reincarnation of Princess Diana. I mean, that's incredibly feudal. So the prince has to be the reincarnation of the princess. I don't think that's how it works. I really don't. I might be wrong. But let's put this a better way than I can on my own. An old Native American woman said to me that we've been all things. And I didn't really want to hear this when she said this to me. We've been the healer, and we've been the killer. We've been a woman, we've been a man, we've been white, black, red, yellow, whatever. And because our memory is taken from us, this is very, very intrinsic to the indigenous spiritual philosophies. We purportedly have no memory of those existences, but some of us do. And this is where it's interesting, where you meet someone and you go, I've been talking to you for a minute and I feel like I've known you all my life. And that's fascinating. And the real story behind Magnetized originally was, how do we find each other, in love and in life? But then I added other things into the words. Someone had mentioned this on social media. And that is, been here many times before with a different face from a different shore, a different shoreline. In other words, a different country. Both here to discover the other again. And then I go on to say, we've lived many lives before, fought on different sides of 100 wars. Imagine that. That for all we know, we've been through so many conflicts on different sides. And so that's why it's very difficult for anyone to be holier than thou in this world. That's the great thing about reincarnation, is the sense of humility that comes with it, because no matter what I choose to think of myself as I am now, I don't know what I've been before. And I've probably been many things, like all of us. Time for tea. I think tea is something from another time, I think. Anyway, you know what, folks? Let's be good to each other, kind to each other, support one another, love the earth, love animals, love children, be protective of one another, and that's all that matters. However you find your answers to life is your decision. The most important thing is that we have this commonality of what I like to think of as universal human rights that we all acknowledge. I think you know what I mean. Okay, everyone, have I done? Oh yeah, let me just say this, because I didn't. These are lovely images, and then I'll do the song because I've made this quite long. Okay, this really is the question. Again, where do we come from? Where are we going? Why are we here? But the idea that we are far more than just our physical form, I think that unites a lot of us, though not everyone. And that life really is like the seasons, as I say in the song. We live our spring years, our summer years, our autumn years, and our winter years, and then we're gone. But like the seasons, we return for another spring, another summer, another autumn, and another winter. And on it goes. And with each life, maybe we take some steps forward, another life maybe some steps back. But we keep moving forward, we keep moving ahead. And I'd like to think as a humanity that slowly but surely we are learning and we are evolving. And in many, many years to come, should we as a race survive on this beautiful planet, that we will be even more evolved and even more loving and respectful of one another. So, Magnetized. Now, folks, I'm doing this on a Saturday. That means I haven't had quite as much time to prepare. I always give you an excuse before I do this. But that's the case with Magnetized. Okay, I'm going to do the song, folks, and then I'll say my adioses. Okay. I can see it in your eyes. You're a spirit I recognize. Feelings I cannot explain, but I don't even know your name. Do we only live to die, or is it that our hearts are magnetized and our worlds collide for a reason? Do we only live to die, yeah, or is it that our hearts are magnetized, going round and round like the seasons? Have I come to make amends? Our old enemies now my friends. And are you here to be my guide, to heal the wounds that I bear inside? Yeah. Do we only live to die, or is it that our hearts are magnetized and our worlds collide for a reason? Yeah. Do we only live to die, or is it that our hearts are magnetized, going round and round? Been here many times before, with a different face from a different shore, both here to discover the other again. We've lived many lives before, fought on different sides of 100 wars, both here to discover the other again. Do we only live to die, or is it that our hearts are magnetized, going round and round and round like the seasons? Yeah. Do we only live reasons. Yeah, yeah. Like the seasons. Ooh. What are the reasons? Yeah. Been here many times before with a different face from a different shore. We've lived many lives before, fought on different sides of 100 wars. Been here many times before with a different face from a different shore. We've lived many lives before, fought on different sides of 100 wars. Thank you so much for listening and for bearing with me on quite a long episode. I thought this one would be, actually. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm just, looks like everyone was enjoying this. Thank you so much. I'm going to wrap up for now, folks. Next week, I'm actually seeing my daughter for the first time in over a year and a half on Sunday night. She's coming to stay with me. So I'm debating whether I'm going to do it on Sunday or Saturday again. I'll let you know in the week, okay? But next week's episode is going to be Rain Dance, the song Rain Dance. So that's an environmental song. That's a story and a half. I hope you enjoyed it, everyone. And like I said, I hope you just embrace what I'm trying to say, because really the song is about how do we better ourselves? How do we improve ourselves? How do we become better people, basically? And this is one perspective on how that happens. I'm sure many of you have your own perspectives, and that's cool. Like I say, as long as we treat each other with love and support, and that we recognize that we're all equal. And I personally feel that animals are as well, and trees are, and plants, and Mother Earth herself. And she's the one we've got to really, really look after right now, folks, and into the future. And we can learn a lot from the ancients who were well ahead of the game with that. Okay, everyone. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you so much. If you do watch the game today, Copa America, may the best team win. I have my reasons for supporting one slightly over the other, but actually they're both great teams. And of course tomorrow, European Cup final. Best of luck to England. Of course, best of luck to Italy as well. I hope it's going to be a great game. I'm sure it will. And they're both fantastic teams. Hope it's a clean game, lads. Both teams have played fantastically throughout the tournament, as have some of the other ones. So anyway, enjoy, everyone, and I will see you next week. In the meantime, have a good one. Look after yourselves, and see who it is that you think you recognize from another time. Okay.